They told her to stand down. They told her to trust the plan. They told her the map was clear. But as the Navy SEAL unit moved forward through the narrow Afghan valley, one woman saw something no one else wanted to see. And in the seconds that followed, she had to choose between obeying command or saving every life walking beside her. Asterisk, what city are you watching from today? If this story resonated with you, hit subscribe for more stories about extraordinary people. Lieutenant Mara Hale had earned her place the hard way, not through favors or shortcuts, but through years of silent excellence. She was not the loudest in the room. She did not boast about past missions. She listened, watched, and remembered. The men in the unit respected her discipline, but some still questioned her instincts. Not because she was inexperienced, but because she did not fit their idea of what a rule follower looked like. The mission briefing had been precise. Intelligence said the valley route was clear. The primary objective was a high-value courier, expected to pass through before dawn. Command wanted speed and silence. No deviations. No delays. The order was simple. Move straight through the valley. Establish overwatch. Extract. Mara studied the map longer than anyone else. The terrain lines told a different story. The slope angles were wrong. The ridge lines offered too many blind spots. And the local reports from 2 weeks earlier mentioned shepherd paths that were not marked. Paths that could hide men and weapons. She raised her concern calmly. She pointed to the map and explained what she saw. The response was polite but firm. Satellite confirmed no movement. Drone sweeps showed nothing. Command wanted momentum. The team leader acknowledged her input and closed the briefing dot as they moved into the valley. The air felt wrong to her. It was not fear. It was pattern recognition. The silence was too perfect. No distant movement. No signs of life. Even the wind seemed to avoid the rocks above them. Mara slowed her pace and scanned the ridges again. She noticed a small detail that did not belong. A line of disturbed gravel where none should be. Fresh, but carefully masked. She felt her chest tighten. She keyed her radio and requested a brief halt to reassess. The response came back sharp and immediate. Negative. Maintain formation. Keep moving. The unit pressed forward. Every step felt heavier. Her training screamed that something was wrong. She remembered a lesson drilled into her years earlier. Orders exist to guide action. Judgment exists to save lives. She saw it then. A faint glint high above them. Not a scope reflection, but metal catching the sun for half a second. Enough to confirm her fear. The ambush was set. Her heart pounded as she made the decision that would define her career forever. She broke formation and raised her fist, the universal signal to stop. At the same time, she shouted for cover, her voice cutting through the valley dot. The reaction was instant chaos and instant survival. The team scattered into defensive positions just as rounds cracked into the rocks where they had been walking seconds earlier. Dust exploded into the air. The ambush was real, and it was lethal. Because they had stopped, because they had moved off the kill zone, the enemy fire lost its advantage. The unit returned controlled fire toward the ridges, forcing the attackers to reposition. Mara moved with precision, directing angles of coverage, calling out threats, keeping her voice steady. There was no panic in her commands. Only clarity. The firefight was short. The ambushers had expected compliance and surprise. They got resistance and discipline instead. Within minutes, the enemy withdrew into the high ground, leaving behind silence once again. When it was over, the valley felt different, heavy, honest. The team regrouped. No casualties. Not even a serious injury. The team leader looked at Mara, his expression unreadable. He did not thank her. Not yet. He simply asked one question. "Why did you stop us?" She answered without defensiveness. She explained what she saw. The terrain. The gravel. The glint. She finished with a simple truth. If we had kept walking, we would not be standing here. Command was not pleased when they heard the report. Orders had been broken. Protocol ignored. There was an investigation. Statements were taken. Footage reviewed. Every second replayed. The drone feed showed what the initial sweep had missed. Heat signatures that appeared only after the unit entered the valley. The ambush had been timed perfectly. Except for one variable. Mara Hale, the final report concluded that her decision directly prevented multiple fatalities. The official language was careful. It acknowledged deviation while commending judgment. She received no medal that day, no public praise. But something more important changed. The men in her unit stopped questioning her instincts. They stopped seeing her as the officer who broke orders. They saw her as the leader who chose them over her own safety. Weeks later, the team leader pulled her aside before another mission. He handed her the map and waited. She marked a different route. No one argued. That is the quiet truth about leadership. It is not proven by obedience alone, but by the courage to act when the cost of silence is too high. Sometimes saving lives means standing against the very structure meant to protect them. Mara never spoke about that valley again. She did not need to. Every step forward after that was lighter, not because danger was gone, but because trust had taken its place. What did this story make you feel? Where are you watching from? Subscribe to Soul Relief Stories for more real stories that heal the heart.